Alright, I'm actually going to use my cell phone for this. I think it'll work a little bit easier. So the first part is good commenting and information blocks at each of the coding pages. I'm not a big fan of the information blocks, but as you can see, I got coding at various points of each line or a section of code where something different is done. All the green is comments. So that's on the main form. This is just the input for what your server is, your user ID and password is to connect to a database. Here's the connection to the database. This is parsing through that datainfo.ini to get the information that's needed. DB Connect, this is actually what connects to the database. As you can see, I create their connection string with their server, their UID, their password, and then the database. And then I actually do the connection, and then down here are all my commands, such as my update statement, my delete statement, my select statement, count, backup, and restore. I actually have those two features added. I just recently did those. So those are all my comments. So that takes care of commenting. Input validation. All my input validation, like I said, is done through here. These are all classes from the, or this is a one class from the main page, which is here. This class, you must send it a string for the query, and then you must send it, and it will return a table. And you must send it and or a table, and it will return a data set, as you can see here. So and all of these have this. So my update statement, you must send it a string. The insert statement, you must send it a string as well. The reason the select statement uses the table is because you'll see once you get into the main application, there's a table at the bottom, and you can select it within that table. So these are my input validations. If you don't send it the right stuff, it errors out, it'll send back an error, and then I have try catches all over the place. I will warn you that, hey, what you did was wrong. You can't really do that. If you try to type in something blank, it'll forewarn you beforehand. So those are my input validations. Exception handling, try catches. I don't think there's many in here. Well, yeah, right here's a try catch. This is with opening the connection string. Each one of these commands is a single command, which means it opens the connection string, and then at the end it closes the connection string. And then, that's for security purposes. You don't want to leave your string open until you're absolutely done. That's not necessarily smart programming practice, but like here's opening the database. There's a try catch right there, a switch statement in case you get certain errors, and then returning false if you do not open the database. When you go into the main form, this is where all of the generation of the queries are done. As you can see, there's also, like I said, there's code here. These are all generation for all the queries. So this is creating my data grids right here. All of that for each of the pages. And then there's tabs, you'll see that. So this is the branch tab. So there's no really need for try catches in this part because all the try catches are done through the validation of the queries through the other class. So, but each one of my tabs, as you see, I have a product tab, a developer tab, a tester tab. Each one of the tabs has their own section of code like such, and they're commented well. So that is my exception handling. The database connection, that was in the previous. You must use the datainfo.ini. You provide the server, the user ID, the password, and the database. And then through this code right here and the datainfo.cs, we'll parse through that, grab all the information, set whatever you put as server to the server name, whatever you set to the database is the database name, and so on and so forth. And then it'll tell you if it if something was typed in wrong, here's my try catch for error handling at that point. And then DB connect, it takes what you typed in there. As you can see, my connection string is set up right there. And then here's my connection to the actual database. I'm trying right here. And if for some reason it fails to connect, it's going to ensure that it doesn't connect, and it's going to close it out, and then you're going to get an exception error right here. So there's my connection to the database. CRUD, the create, read, update, delete. Read is also select. Like I said, I already went through those. I have my right here. We'll zoom in. Open connection to database, close the connection to the database, the insert statement, the update statement, delete statement, select statement, count, like I said, backup, and then recover. So those are all those. And then good user interface design. So now I'll go through the actual application itself. So I just click start, and we'll let it launch up here. There's actually, it's a two-part window. This is the lock code that I've been playing around with. The password's 1010AS. Oh, 1010AS. Then it asks you, do you want to make a backup? No, I do not want to make a backup, and it launches the application. This is the user interface. As you can see, there's a table at the bottom, so this is all that down here. This is all the data that's in the tables. So you can see it live, what data is in the tables. As you can see up top, you have each one of the tabs: branch, category, product, developer, and tester. And as you see, when you change, it's actually running a select statement, selecting all the data in the table and loading it into the data grid at the bottom. There's a timestamp under there so you can see when your last change was made. So as you see, that says 1:16 with 14 seconds. Now it's 1:16 with 20 seconds. So, and it says PM at the end. And then as you can see over here, you also have a count. That's what the count statement was for. So you can see how the count changes when you add items to the data grid. And at the top, like I said, you can see your add and deletes. All of these are done via radio buttons. So if you look here, we have 32 items in this table. There's that. So this is the developer table. So if I click add, I'm gonna add the developer name as Jim Kim. I'm typing it in, and when you start clicking on here, none of these are active. That's also an error handling check to make sure you can't have multiple fields trying to work at the same time, because if this button is checked, it's going to only run the insert statement. If the update is checked, then it's going to run the update statement. If the delete is checked, it's going to run the delete statement. So, and then you must send it an initial status of, let's say, active, and then commit your changes. And it says successfully inserted developer Jim Kim, as you can see, with status of active into the developer table. So I click OK, and as you can see, my count went from 32 to 33. It is alphabetical order, so if I scroll down, I can look for Jim Kim, developer ID of 40, developer status of active, refreshed automatically. So now if I come in here to update, by selecting the update table, clears out the add table, or the update section. Now this gives me a list of all the developers that I have in here. So Jim Kim is right there. So now I can update his status to inactive and click commit changes. Now this is going to give me a warning because it wants to make sure this is what you want to do. Warning, you are about to update developer Jim Kim to status inactive in the developer table. Are you sure you want to continue this action? Why, yes, I am. Successfully changed developer Jim Kim status to inactive in the developer table. So I click OK. I'm still at my count of 33. If I look here at Jim Kim, look, automatically it updated to inactive. So, same thing if I want to come into here, go with Jim Kim, and I want to put him as active this time. I'm going to test to make sure that this inactive doesn't change. So, commit changes. No, I don't want to do it. Action was not committed. Okay. Look at that. Jim Kim is still inactive. So then I go to delete. Jim Kim has left the company. There's no need for Jim Kim anymore. So now I have my list of people. And look, so when I type, it'll go to it. So if I go J-I-M, I go J, it'll jump up to the J's. Now I can see Jim Kim. Now this is deleting Jim Kim permanently from the table. So when I click commit, I'm going to get another warning. As you can see, warning, you are about to permanently delete Jim Kim from the developer table. Are you sure you want to commit this action? Yes, I do. Successfully deleted developer Jim Kim. Okay. Now if I come back to here, my count is 32. And as you can see in the J's, there is no Jim Kim. He is gone. So now I'm going to look at like AA right here, since it's at the top. We'll click delete, come up here to AA, commit changes. No, I do not want to delete AA. Action was not committed. Cancel. AA is still on the table. And like I said, this works for anything. You can add a tester here, you can update the tester, delete the tester. Same with the products, categories, and branches at this point. And that is my whole user interface using all of my CRUD statements. As you can see, I had error handling in there. I actually used a lot of the error handling I put into the GUI design. Like I said, if you click on add, all of these become inactive. You can't click in these boxes at all. And the reason for that, like I said, was because the delete option, when this is selected, is going to run the delete statement, and vice versa. When the add is selected, it's going to run the add or insert statement. So I don't want both of these selected or information typed into here, and then when you go to click commit, it's grabbing information from here when really it should be grabbing information from here. So what I did is, say you start typing into here and then you click on the delete, check that out, it clears it out. Again, now I can't click in here. I can select anything I want like that, select all of these, and then click add. And although these will stay, when you click back to it, it clears out. It actually becomes deactivated at that point. So when you're clicked on here, say you only had one thing, there's error handling in here. If you try to commit changes, please select a product and give a branch name. So you actually have to give a name. So there's part of the error handling, and make sure you have all fields typed in before you ever submit. So that is my final part for a good user interface. Thank you.